And we are in a collection of talks titled Family Under Fire. And we began this collection of talks 5 weeks ago. I preached to the men, what does it mean to be a godly man? And the week after, I preached, what does it look like to be a godly woman? And then I preached to the kids, why does the enemy want to kill God's kids? And if you can't kill them in the womb, what he will do is he'll try to indoctrinate them outside the womb. And you kept coming back, even though I kept offending you. And then last week I preached on singleness. Anyone loved last week's sermon? I heard a lot of feedback. A lot of single people, you need some help. We want to give you an opportunity better than Tinder. And next week, I'm going to be talking about something spicy. It's PG-13, no kids in the room. We're talking about sex. But today, if you are new to church, today's your first Sunday, we are talking about relationships. Before you get angry with me, the person that invited you knew what they were doing. So please be angry with them. But I want to give you our theme verse for this morning. It's really this, comes out of the book of Proverbs. It says, sensible people will see trouble coming. There are signs. There are blues clues. They see trouble coming and they avoid it. But an unthinking person, some translations say foolish person, will walk right into it and regret it later. Statistically speaking, Americans, 80% of Americans get married. It means there's a 20% chance that either you don't want to get married or maybe you don't find the right person, and maybe last week's sermon encouraged you. But for the 80% that do get married, it is unfortunate that 50% of those people end in divorce. And I just want to give you the heart, the motive, the goal of this morning is so simple. I want to lower that number. I want it to be zero. I believe because you're in the room, we could eliminate divorce. I believe because you're in the room, listen, you can see the blues clues. You can see what God is trying to show you. Listen, some of you, if we're honest this morning, of the 50% that got divorced, 100 of you saw the signs, but you ignored it. You knew that his middle name was L, stood for Lucifer. You should have known something better. You should have known when he had 3 cell phones, he had a side chick. You knew when you asked her what church she goes to, she gave you 3 names. I worship here, I go to once a month over here. Yeah, but where do you serve? Where do they, when you walk in the room, they know who you are? And married people, you never get divorced when they slide those papers across the desk. They were being written every day that you neglected that marriage, hoping they would change, believing maybe over time. It never works that way. A foolish person ignores the sign. I wrote it like this though. God didn't hide the red flags, you did. God didn't hide the red flags, you did. And on your chair, you should see, we're gonna have an interactive sermon. I'm gonna preach what Gen Z calls a mid-sermon. I'm gonna preach green flags and red flags. And I'm gonna need audience participation. When I say red, you hold up the red flag. Red, there it go. When I say green, you hold up the green flag. This is gonna be one of those sermons I'm gonna teach a lot more than I preach, but I'm believing God's gonna use it in a creative way to speak to you this morning. Are you ready for God's word? Let me pray and let's jump in together. Lord, we love you. We praise you, God. But God, you so clearly tell us, God, that you can show us when trouble is coming and how to avoid it. But God, we don't want to be foolish. We don't want to walk into something and then regret it later. God, open up our eyes, whether we're single, it's complicated, we're in a relationship, or even when we're married, God. Show us the flags, show us the signs on how to make our relationships better. Allow us to win in relationships, Lord. Lord, ultimately, God, we don't just want wisdom, we want you. We want to talk like you. We want to love like you. We want to look more and more like Jesus. And if you believe that everybody said, can we give Jesus a round of applause before we begin? Come on. Can we do it one more time? Because like 2 of you are excited. Anyone excited for God's word? Let's go. I got a 10-point sermon. This is one of those Sundays you're going to take a lot of notes. Point number 1, red flag. Show me the red flag. Single people, I'm going to preach to you first. I'm going to preach to the married people. Single people, they don't follow Jesus. I didn't say they don't believe. There's a difference between believing and following. The book of James 2 verse 19 says it like this. You believe that God is one and you do well. Even the demons believe and shudder. Some of you, you didn't even know it, but you came into this room with the demon. Because they believe. And the point that James is trying to make is that level of cognition is not enough to say that you believe. Even the demons believe. But the question is, do you follow? Do you submit your will to his will? Do you deny yourself and follow him? Because that's really when things get interesting. And really, to make this practical, there are times in a relationship where before you play this game, you're friends. Before you play this game, you have love in your relationship. And then real life happens. And then you discover very quickly, are they a follower of Jesus or they just believe in God? Because what will happen is they will throw a draw 4 on you. And because the favor of God is on you and favor isn't fair, you will throw a draw 4 on the draw 4. And then they will say, you can't throw a draw 4 on draw 4. You called 911, I can't do life with a criminal. And what ends up happening is you end up seeing the rules that they play with are different than the rules that you play with. Well, that's not how we play it in my family. That's not how we did it in my home. And single people don't realize, you are not marrying a person. You are marrying 2 families, and the way they did holidays, and the way they did sex, and the way they did marriage, and the way they did fights, and the way that they did it in your home, you're gonna bring that into the marriage, and you're gonna see it. I remember this one time I was playing Scrabble with someone. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And he put this word down, and I'm awful at grammar. So I was just sitting there. I'm like, I don't even know if can I Google this just to double check? And it turns out it wasn't even a word. And I said, bro, that's not a word. He goes, it is in Spanish. I said, we're praying Scrabble, not Scribble. Come on. That's what happens in a marriage. The question is, are you playing by the same rule book? Because when life gets hard, when it gets challenging, listen, when you go from 2 incomes to 1 and the debt is increasing and one in the couple will say, I still want to tithe. And the other will say, what were you doing? Well, one will say, well, 90% with God is better than 100% without him. And the other one, now the real faith is coming out. Or maybe when your kid turns 15, gets his first boyfriend, or he gets his first girlfriend. One parent, because they just believe, will show up to have the bees talk with condoms. And the other one will show up with the Bible to talk about purity. It's not enough to just believe. Do you follow Jesus? Red flag, show me your red flag. Red flag number 2, you don't have experience healthy. Someone say healthy. Healthy conflict. The question is not if you fight. The question is, how do you fight? And there are 2 extremes with this, and I've seen this. Either you fight a lot or you don't fight at all. Let me speak to the first. You fight about everything. That's a red flag, by the way. That you're in the honeymoon, like psychologists say, the first 18 months of a relationship. You are on cloud 9. The emotions, the euphoria of being in that relationship with that. You'll be pumping gas, and you'll be thinking about that person. You'll be cooking. You'll be paying bills and you'll be thinking about that person because they're on your mind all the time. And if you're fighting in that season, maybe it's a bad sign. And the worst thing you can do in that season, you go, oh, I know what will solve this. Spending every waking moment with the person I fight with all the time with. Entering a relationship that is covenantal, that you can never break. What you don't realize, though, is that marriage is built on a principle. It comes from Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. It says this. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Someone shout multiply. Who you are before marriage multiplies after marriage. The good in your relationship gets bigger. Listen, and the bad in your relationship gets bigger. Because I wrote it like this, marriage does not mend, it multiplies. So if you're happier before marriage, you get happier. If you're messy before marriage, you get messier. You get in marriage. Whatever you are, you get more of that. Let me speak very candidly because there are no kids in the room. For some of you young men that struggle with pornography, it gets worse after you get married. The lie that you believe is, oh, this problem will go away once they get married. No, you need freedom before. Because if you bring that bondage, if you bring that brokenness into marriage, when you watch it, when you know you shouldn't, you feel this conviction, this shame. But here's the key, you do it by yourself. The moment you get married, you have to sleep next to the one you betrayed. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. So it's not only do you fight too much, that's a problem. Listen, when you fight too little, are you hiding? Do you not know how to have crucial conversations? The number of people that wear a mask in a relationship is enormous. Because often what you're doing is you're putting on your best behavior and you're trying to win them over. And if you have no fights, that's not a good sign. I wrote it like this. Beware. No, I'm sorry. I wrote it like this. The biblical test is this. Tests reveal character. Often when you're in school, the teacher will give you a test. It's trying to reveal to you and show to you where you stand in light of those things. You want to be able to test that person's character. Where do they stand when things hit the fan? How do they fight? What do they do when the pressure is high? When you threw a draw 4 on top of their draw 4, do they cuss at you? Do they walk out the room? Or do they say things they would never say, but they say it in the heat of the passion, and they say, you draw that out of me. You want to know where they really stand. Remember when Pastor Yaz and I first got together, what ended up happening is I was emotionally a little bit immature, and what I would do is in those moments, I would stonewall Pastor Yasmin. We get into a big fight, I'm like, I'm out. I had the option of going home. And then imagine how difficult it was for me when we got married. She was in my home. So I'd go to the bedroom and close the door, and she'd come in. I'm like, leave me alone, woman. So I'd go to the couch. And she would quote to me Ephesians 5, do not let the sun go down on your anger. And it was a principle, don't sleep on your anger. I'm like, I'm not gonna break that verse. She's like, how? I'm pulling an all-nighter. That's how immature I was. Red flag. It's not enough that they follow Jesus. How do you two have conflict? Flag number 3, show me a red flag. You prioritize potential. Someone say potential over patterns. You are not a hedge fund manager. You're not investing in stock, you're picking a spouse. And I blame Disney's Beauty and the Beast. I know he has fangs. I know he kills everyone. But if I kiss him, he'll turn into a prince. Fellas, let me speak to you too. Don't be so enamored by her beauty on the outside that you miss the monster on the inside. These aren't even my words. These are the words of Jesus. Matthew chapter 7, this is the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus is teaching you and reminding you how to identify false prophets. People who claim to be a pastor, claim to be a follower of Jesus, and he's gonna warn you, you'll never know by what they say if they're lying or not. Watch the cue. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly, someone say inwardly, are ravenous wolves. They look the part, they talk the part, and you won't be able to tell based on the outside or even their words. But here's how you tell. You will recognize them by their fruits. Someone say fruits. That's their character. That's how they treat people in the moment of pain. How foolish would it be if this speaker was an apple tree and I stood under this apple tree week after week, day after day, expecting oranges? How dumb would I look? And yet some of you will stand under an angry person expecting patience. It's the same thing. You will know them by their fruit, not by their potential, by their fruit. Listen, some of you, I just gotta say it out loud, don't complain about the fruit you picked. You knew them by their fruit and you saw it only produced apples, and yet you expected oranges. So let me speak to some people who are in the room and they're single. Don't make any sudden movements. Because the person you're considering maybe breaking up with is sitting next to you. Let me give you a verse that will help you. Psalm 119, get out of my life. For I intend to obey the commands of God. Your calling is too great. God purchased you with his blood. Listen, there's no good people in this room, by the way. Only forgiven people. And that means his calling, his purpose supersedes any American dream, any dream your parents have for you. Don't neglect your calling for a Good Friday. Don't neglect your legacy and your grandchildren's legacy for a good weekend. I wrote like this: the cost of breaking up is always less than the cost of staying together. Both of them have a price. Let me tell you, the cost of staying is higher. It's higher. Now, I preach to the single people. Now, let me preach to the married people. Married people, red flag. Married people, red flag. Arguing about stupid stuff. And I got a list to help some married people. Arguing about how to reinstall toilet paper is stupid. It's supposed to be from the front. No, it's supposed to be from the back. Or you do what my wife does. She just plops it on the counter and expects me to put it away. We don't argue about it though, and neither should you. Number 2, argue about how you fold clothes. Fellas, no one has a degree in folding clothes, and if we did, all of us would fail. Just tell your wife, I'm trying, honey. I know you want to roll up the towels. I fold them. We'll figure this out. My 3rd favorite, how you load the dishwasher. Let me just declare and prophesy over your home. There is no right way to load the dishwasher. And my favorite one on the list, where you set the thermostat. Some of you did not know that when you married, your spouse was from the South Pole. Come on, somebody. I married someone who's anemic. I didn't know what that meant until we got married. That means from October to maybe June, our thermostat is set to 75 degrees. I live in a lizard aquarium for 6 months of the year. And I don't fight about it anymore. Well, my wife, she's laughing, she knows. I go, babe, I'm in a t-shirt and board shorts in February. She's like, I'm cold. And then June comes around and she goes, can we go to Hawaii this summer? I'm like, I just pull out the PG&E bill. Babe, we lived in Hawaii for half the year. I don't want to fight though. I don't want to fight. And here, every time there's a divorce, it's never about the toilet paper. It's never about the dishes. It's never about how you fold clothes. And let me tell you, it's never about the thermostat. It's the small things that you don't know how to talk about that lead to the big thing. That's what Psalms, or the book of Solomon, wants to teach you. This is the Song of Solomon. This is David's son. This was a man that Jesus says is the wisest man who ever lived. And he wrote a love story about his love story. And he uses this metaphor between him and his wife. Catch the foxes. Someone say foxes. The foxes in this context are the sneaky things that enter a vineyard. The little foxes that spoil the vineyards. For our vineyards are in blossom. What is true physically about a vineyard is that when you grow plants and vegetables, foxes will come in and eat them. But he uses this physical analogy to talk about a spiritual reality. That your relationship will have, AKA, little foxes. Little things like the thermostat that will come in. Little things like how you load the dishwasher that will come. And it's not about those things. It's if you don't address those things, the small thing can become a big thing. Listen, I noticed this pattern. My wife and I are going to approach 12 years of marriage in about 3 weeks from now. It's crazy. The first 7, we consistently fought on the same day every single time. The first day of vacation. It was the day we were loading up the car. It was the day we were at the airport. It was the first day we touched down in some paradise and the fight would happen. And the reason why is we had all this stuff in our heart. All these things we wanted to talk about, all these things that annoyed us about the other person, but because life was busy, because we each had a job, because we were planting a church, we had 2 kids, we never had the time. And the little thing, we'd sit down and blow up into the big thing. And we realized the thing that we were actually fighting about was not the thing we were arguing about. I wrote like this, maybe this will speak to you. What am I really mad about? What are you really arguing about? Fellas, let me speak to you for a second. It's never about the dishes. It's about being seen. Ladies, let me talk to you for a second. It's never about the thing that you're arguing about. It's about him needing to be respected. Are you following along? Don't show the next slide, production team. I need everyone in the room, show me red flag. Red flag. There's this, put it down. Let me speak to the men for a second. There's this moment in the book of Exodus. The Israelites spent 400 years in slavery. Then they come to the Red Sea. And the Pharaoh and his army is coming behind them, and they are freaking out. And Moses declares this prophetic word, just stand and be still, let the Lord fight for you. Let me speak to the men. Let me fight for you for a moment. I'm gonna get my next point. I don't want a peep. I don't want, just look forward and be the frozen chosen for 30 seconds. Don't even go do Spiritu Santos, nothing. Let me fight for you, amen? Fellas, don't say nothing. Point number 2, red flag in marriage, not having sex regularly. Don't move. Let me give this caveat though. There are physical reasons, pain, trauma, that you physically can't do it on a regular basis. I want to acknowledge those things. There are emotional reasons like depression and you're overwhelmed with trauma. Maybe you had abuse in a previous relationship that prevent you from wanting and desiring it. There are seasons of life, a death in the family. You're overwhelmed with life, but it can't be every season. Can't be every season. Now, right now, half the room is confused. Every single person in the room is like, wait a second, Pastor Ali. Are you telling me there are married people in the room that could be having sex every night of the week and they're not? Yes. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If 14-year-old Ali could see how beautiful my wife is and then see 40-year-old Ali sometimes turning her down because he's tired, he would karate chop 40-year-old Ali in the throat. This is 1 Corinthians 7 though. The husband should fulfill his wife's sexual needs, and the wife should fulfill her husband's needs. The wife gives, someone say gives authority over her body to her husband, and the husband gives, someone say gives authority over his body to his wife. Do not deprive each other of sexual relations unless you both agree to refrain from sexual intimacy for a limited time so you can give yourselves more completely to prayer. Afterwards, you should come together again so that Satan won't be able to tempt you because of your lack of self-control. And I love that this verse is not highlighting your obligation. It's highlighting what happens when you love your spouse. You give. Someone say give. There's a difference between giving though and taking. Lust is not love. I wrote like this: love gives, lust takes. If you're demanding sex, you've missed the point. Because now you're demanding something that, listen, that isn't your body. That she doesn't belong to you. And in the same way, it doesn't work the opposite. His body doesn't belong to you. Love gives. Lust takes. But I need to say one thing to this. You need to realize that your physical body is attached to your soul. The Bible, the language that the Bible uses is heart. Someone say heart. That when you are physically intimate with someone, your heart becomes connected. And this is why it's a red flag when you don't have regular sex. I see this all the time. There'll be a dude in a relationship because I don't find her attractive in this season. I'm not, she annoys me. And so what you do, because your heart has already withdrawn, you begin to withdraw your body. Not realizing that when you lay your life down, I want to say something that's almost TMI. 30% of the time in my marriage with my wife, we're both in the mood. I knew no one would say amen to that. But out of love, to sow into the marriage, we serve one another. Because where your physical body goes, your heart goes too. That's why it's a red flag. When you don't do it, you're holding back. Which then begs the question, how often, Pastor Ali? Well, I can't give you a number. But that should be a question you ask and talk about with your spouse. Talk about the little foxes. And if you have little kids in the car, use a code word. Do we have enough Kool-Aid in our home? I think we should go to Costco and buy a warehouse full. What do you think, honey? They won't know. They'll be excited. Red flag. Someone say red flag. Show it to me. one or both stop coming to church. It's always innocent in the beginning. We work 6 days a week, Pastor Ali. Families in town, Pastor Ali, the beach. It's always these good reasons. But listen, the moment you remove church, you remove Jesus. I wish I had a Jenga piece up here. A tower to show you your relationship. At the very top of the tower is your physical connection. That you are probably sexually compatible with like 1 billion people. And yet often we put that as the number one criteria of why we should be together. It is the last thing that you add to a relationship. Below that is, are you emotionally connected? Are you even friends? Below that is, do you have the same values? Do you have the same purpose? Do you have the same faith? And at the bottom, the foundation of every marriage in this room should be Jesus. And when you remove Jesus, it's like, you know, in Jenga, there's those 3 pieces, and you remove the 2 side pieces, and all you got that one piece, and the whole thing's dangling in between. It's like when the moment you remove church, the whole thing collapses. And this is true whether you're married in a Christian marriage or in a non-Christian marriage. I'm going to say it out loud so everyone hears me. There will come a point where your wife will not be worth the effort. There will be a point that your husband will not be worth the effort. And you will out loud and even say it privately, who is this person that I married? This isn't, I don't want to fight anymore, God. This is not worth the effort. And you need a higher reason than the one you're laying next to. That's why Ephesians 5, verse 19, it says, 21, it says this, submit to one another out of reverence. Someone say reverence. You know what that's saying? Let me modernize this. You're cute, but you're not that cute. I love you, and I'll serve you because you're awesome, but there will come a point where your beauty fades, your character fades, and you are no longer worth this effort. I do it for Him. I serve you because of Him. I love you because of Him. Because God reminds you of those moments that you were unfaithful to God. And He, listen, had irreconcilable differences against you. And He loved you anyways. And He served you anyways. And He pursued you anyways. And when you receive that love from Him, He says, now love your spouse that way. I know they don't deserve it, but neither did you. I know they didn't do anything to earn it, but neither did you. And He wants you to love unconditionally the way that He loved you unconditionally. I don't do this for you, but reverence for Him. Now can we go to the happy path? Can we go to the green flags? Someone show me the green flags. Come on. Woo! Single people, I'm going to give you the longest run-on sentence of your life. Don't at me. Point number 1 for single people, green flag. You've been single long enough to know yourself. I preached on this last week. You gotta know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, what will often happen is you'll enter a relationship and you'll do everything you can to keep that person. Often you will lose your identity. And what will end up happening is 5 years in the marriage, you'll become bitter at the person you gave up everything to keep, not knowing who you were. And you'll blame them because you didn't know yourself. Got to know yourself. And then the second part of the sentence, you've been with single long enough to know yourself, comma, dating long enough to know them. Got to know the real them. How do they handle conflict? How do they speak to their mom? Because the way that they speak to their parents, listen, is going to be the way that they speak to you. The way that they gossip about people who are not in the room are going to be how they gossip about you one day. You got to know them. And this is where often, if you are single in a healthy way long enough, and you meet another person who also was single, there's no need to be dating for 5 years. Because when 2 people who are healthy meet each other, they just know. And they get married very fast. Why? Because not only do they know themselves, they know the other person. Point number 3, and you have a shared purpose. Do you both want to build the same thing? Can't tell you how many couples I've seen where one wants to come to church every Sunday and the other one doesn't. Or one spouse wants kids and the other one doesn't. The goal is not to have the same house looking the same way. It's to have the same purpose. Do you want to build the same family? Do you want to go in the same direction? Do you want to build the same things? Some people want to build God's house. Do you know what you're getting into? Some people want to build a business. Do you know what you're getting into? It has nothing to do whether you're called to ministry or not. The goal is, do you have the same purpose? And if all of those things are true, you know yourself, you know them, you have the same purpose. Next point, if you're both followers of Jesus, you should, someone say should get married. Because in our culture, there is a massive attack on, quote unquote, the institution of marriage. Oh, it no longer works. You don't need to get married. It's a broken system. Listen, marriage is not broken. Broken people get married. They're the broken people. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. God only gives good gifts. So if God gives us something that doesn't work, the issue is not with him, the issue is with us. So if you have all of this criteria, you should get married. And I see couples all the time who are dating month after month, year after year. I go, why aren't y'all getting married? Oh, Pastor, it's so expensive. And I get it. So I ChatGPT'd. It's $110 in San Jose to get a marriage license. You're welcome. All you really need to do, let's just be honest, can you both budget together? Can you afford rent? Can you afford groceries? Maybe a little Netflix because you want to chill sometimes during the week? No one got that joke? But if you can do that, you should get married. Because what the culture will do is it will shame you for getting married. And then once you're ready, it will say, no, you have to have a wedding like this. You need to have all these, because if you don't, that's not a real wedding. And what they'll do is they'll delay your destiny. When the wedding day is between you and your spouse, not you and the opinion of all these other people who aren't coming with you. And then let me speak another lie over your marriage. That you'll hear this lie, that when you do get married, the first year of your marriage is hard. Let me cancel that lie in Jesus' name. Let me prophesy over you. The first year of your marriage will be the best year of your life. And the second year of your marriage will be the new best year of your life. And the third year of your marriage will be the new best year of your life. Why? Because every year with God's blessing, it's better and better. 3 of you are excited. Awesome. Awesome. Let me give you green flag to the married people, because this is probably the number one most asked question. Pastor Ali, is there a time when I can get a divorce? And I'll tell you, there is never a green light, but there is what I would call a yellow light. The reason why is that God gives you the reasons to proceed, but he says proceed with caution. And when you see a yellow light on the street, you're not going the same speed limit. You're slowing down because there may be cross traffic in the same way. You may have biblical reasons, but you got to slow down. Why? Because Malachi 2 verse 16 says this, I the Lord, for I hate divorce. He doesn't hate the people. He hates what it does to the people. He loves you, but marriage hurts families. Marriage hurts children. Marriage hurts people. So God hates the thing that hurts his kids. I should say that. Some of you in this room are divorced and you think, does God hate me? He does not hate you. He hates the brokenness of that marriage and the way that it hurts you. There are probably 2 events that psychologists say are the worst, most painful thing that you could experience. The first one being bearing your child. That they would pass away before you do. Second one is, on the list, is a divorce. It's the most painful thing that you can experience. And there are two conditions where you are guilt-free, shame-free, but you can proceed with caution, and they're on your screen. It's adultery and abandonment. I'm not going to read you the verses. I want you to go home and study. But the first one is so clear. Jesus talks, if anyone divorces his wife except for porneia. What he's essentially saying is any kind of sex outside of marriage. If you don't have unfaithfulness in marriage, you don't have grounds for divorce in marriage. And there are so many people, I don't like the way she puts away my clothes. I don't like the way she cooks. That's not on the list. I'm not in love with her. She's put on a little bit of weight. I get it. But it's not on the list. And the second one is abandonment. Because the Apostle Paul wrote to a Corinthian culture. And in this culture, this was like Vegas on steroids. Imagine for a moment I would invite 5 couples to my house for dinner, and there would be 10 people, and we would eat dinner. At the very end of the night, this was common in Corinth, we would have a 10-person orgy. That was common in Corinth. Then imagine you're the one person in a group of 10 people that accepts Christ. And now it's not my body, my choice. It's my body, his choice. You're like, I got to set myself apart for the Lord. I want to live differently for him. Now your spouse is like, I didn't marry you to get into this. I don't want this life. And they abandon you. And they leave you. They're not a believer, but they leave the marriage. And in that moment, when an unbeliever divorces you, you're not bound in that situation. But outside of those two, there's one more that I want to speak to, because there's a lot of Christian women who live with shame and live with guilt, and I want to give you some hope. The third reason that I want to speak to is you have grounds for separation sometimes. You don't have to stay in an abusive relationship. In Exodus verse 21, Moses is speaking to the men. Hey, these are the conditions on how you take care of your family. And he says, if you can't provide, if you can't give them food and shelter, he speaks to the women, you are allowed to leave. God isn't giving you grounds for divorce. He's saying you have grounds for separation. The way he's loving you is abusive. And there are some women in here, you have this lie. He's allowed to hit me and abuse me, and I have to just take it up because he didn't commit adultery. Nothing is further from the truth. Please email the church. We would love to help you. We would love to help you. And for those of you that you on the verge of quitting, you're looking for a way out. You're annoyed. The passion is waning. Let me give you a prophetic word that was given to me. Don't leave. Serve. Don't leave. Serve. Why? Because relationships work the way that bank accounts do. When you go to an ATM machine and it eventually says you can't withdraw $20, you don't close the account and throw the credit card away. No, you go make a deposit. If your relationship is on empty, you don't throw it away, you make a deposit. Pastor Ali, how do I make a deposit? You serve, you love, you serve that person, but I'm the one that was hurt. You don't get it. Your bank account doesn't care what you think. It only works when there's money in it. And one of you has to be more mature and says, I'm going to be the one that's going to save this marriage. I'm going to love. I'm going to serve. I had to learn this the hard way. In 2021, we were doing church at 5 o'clock. I was completely depressed over the state of our church. And then I began to neglect my wife. And because of my blindness to my depression, I wanted out in the marriage. I even called my board. Said, you need to find a new pastor. And they said, why? I said, because I'm going to leave my wife. My board laughs at me. God bless you, Pastor Dan. He goes, before you leave, you got to do one thing for me. I said, sure. Because I love you, I'll do it. He's like, I want you to do every dish in your home. I want you to do all the laundry in your home. I want you to cook every meal. I want you to clean every bath. I'm like, how? Like a day or two? What are we talking about here? He goes, for the next 30 days. I go, sure. 30 days passes. He goes, how do you feel? I go, I still want out. He goes, give me another 30 days. So another 30 days, I'm literally doing everything. Every dish. I'm cooking, I'm heating meals. I don't know how to cook. I burned water one time. That's how bad I am. And at the end of the 60 days, Pastor Dan calls me, he goes, how do you feel? I go, I still want out. He goes, give me 30 more days. 90 days of cleaning, doing every diaper, cleaning everything, and something broke. I got to the point where I realized my marriage was so negative. All I had been doing for 90 days was depositing love, and the account finally went to zero, and then it finally went positive. And here's the principle. Motion creates emotion. That when you love and serve, it changes your heart. And then I began to realize how valuable she was, how beautiful she was, and how what a foolish person I would have been if I threw it all away, simply because the account was negative. Men, it falls on us to lead our homes in those moments. When we don't feel like it, you make the deposit. You serve and love until your heart changes. And even if she doesn't, she gets the best husband she can have until she leaves you. Now let me give you some married people, and I'll speak to the single people and married people at the same time. Let me speak to the married people for a moment. Green flag. Show me your green flag. Let's say your marriage is awesome. Because I've been speaking to a lot of red flag situations, a lot of brokenness. There are red flags in your marriage. Maybe you're on the verge of divorce. But what if your marriage is healthy? What if your marriage is awesome? Here's my first point to you. Keep growing. I didn't say keep going. Keep going would be to put your marriage in neutral, to put it in autopilot and keep doing what you've always been doing. What you don't realize is your wife is changing. She's a different person than who you married. That's why it comes from Philippians 1, verse 9. It says this: I pray that your love will overflow more and more, and that you'll keep on growing. Someone say growing. Growing in knowledge and understanding. I wrote like this: growing in knowledge, you got to realize that the person you married is not the person you're married to. Sometimes I'll be sitting down with a couple, with my wife and I, and after like 15 minutes of getting through the stuff, they don't do this, they don't do that. They'll say this phrase: they changed, Pastor Ali. And I want to quote the great theologian Homer Simpson: duh. Everyone changes. I mean, literally 2 months ago, I was trying to flirt with my wife. I brought home her coffee. I brought it home. She goes, I don't drink that coffee anymore. I'm like, who are you? Whose coffee changes every 6 weeks? My wife. It's like a quad shot venti something. I can't even say it anymore. You need a degree. Your spouse is changing. There are these TED Talks, and there's this woman by the name of Esther Perel, and she studies infidelity. She says the number one reason why people cheat in a marriage is never about sex. It's that you're loving a person who's no longer in the room. She says it like this: most of us will have 4 or 5 different marriages in our lifetime. Hopefully, most of them are with the same person. Hopefully. And what she's saying is, I know when you first started dating your wife, she loved the color pink. On the way home, ask her, do you still love pink? I know when we were young, full of the Spirit, full of faith, you loved Taco Bell. Are you still Spirit-filled? Have you lost a little bit of the glory? What's your new favorite restaurant? What do you love to do? And some of you are going to be surprised at the answer. That the person you married is not the person you're in the car with. Listen, the world, there's this pattern. I'm going to date you. I'm going to pursue you. I'm going to bring flowers. I'm going to do everything I can to get the princess down from the castle. And the moment I say I do, the pursuit ends. I wrote like this: don't date a person to marry them. Marry them so you can date them. I married her so that you can't date her. Because I want to pursue her. And let me tell you, Pastor Yaz, even though our home is a lizard aquarium, she's a different person. And I love learning more and more. She wants to move to Tennessee. Someone pray for me. Praying that it's a phase. All we need to do is go to the Rose Garden and she gets wilderness. We speak to the married people and the single people. Show me your green flag. Here's the foundation. Whether you're single or whether you're married, you want your relationships to flourish. It's simply this: grow in your relationship with Jesus. Jesus produces character that will sustain you in singleness and will sustain you in your marriage. Every season of my life, if I've been a good single person, it's because of Jesus. Every season of my marriage, if there's been breakthrough, if there's been growth, it's not because of me trying harder, it's being more connected to Him. And He's the one that changed me. And He's the one that transformed me. Philippians 1 verse 11 says this: may you always be filled with the fruit of your salvation, the righteous character produced. Someone say produced in your life. It's not by effort. It's not by you trying harder. The closer you get to Him, He does something in you. Produced in your life by Christ Jesus. For this will bring much glory and praise to God. I just feel led at the end of this sermon to just pray for a few people. Whether you're single and that relationship needs to end, whether you're dating and you're heading down a path that is dangerous because there are some red flags in your marriage, or for some of you, there is a red flag, and not to quit, but to fight. And for everyone in the room, whether you're single or you're married, to be more connected to Him. But I just also feel, because there's this unique grace on our church. We have almost grown by 100 people every year for the last 2 years. And in this last year, there's been a bunch of Gen Zers that have been joining our church. I'm the unk compared to them. I don't know what that means. But I'm the old guy apparently. And I love you even though you wear MC Hammer pants and I wear Lululemon pants. We can find something in common. And I just felt very led and compelled to share you the gospel to Gen Z. So half the room is not gonna even understand a word I'm saying, because I'm not praying in tongues. But I just feel so led to speak to this next generation. Can I do that? Number one, it's called the mirror check. That without Jesus, bro, you're cooked. We all miss the mark. We out here ranking people like Moggin, which means you're attractive, or you're chopped, which means you're not attractive. But God isn't grading your jawline. He looks at the heart, and every heart needs rescue, which leads us to step number 2, our usual flop. We try to grind our way to God, pray more, fast longer, fix ourselves, then reality hits. Oh, you can't fast for 40 days? That's negative aura. You can't save yourself. Effort's good, but effort is not the cure, which leads us to the plot twist. Let Him cook. Jesus stepped in and lived the life we could not live, died the death we deserved, and He walked out the tomb. Jesus died on the cross for our sins. That's infinite aura. Because His grace does not run out. He paid the bill of our sin in full. Because charging people for their sin, that's Ohio behavior. I don't even know what that means, but I love it. Grace is free to you because it cost Him everything. Which leads us to step number 4, your response. To turn from your old life and trust Him. Tell Him your yes with your mouth and your life. And when you do, the Spirit upgrades your soul. But the courage and favor to speak life, love people, and to follow Jesus is real. Which then leads us to step number 5, the glow up. You start becoming another person. You become wiser and steadier. You might look back and say, I'm the unk. I'm the older trusted voice in the room, because Jesus is shaping you into a new creation with a new purpose. And the bottom line is we were cooked, and Jesus cooked up the rescue. Believe in Him, receive His forgiveness, walk in Him daily. That is the gospel. The bad news made good news because the King has infinite aura and He shares it. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Let me pray for you.